The relevance of technology education is very much in preparing people for living in a technological society. So what we would like to see is that the next generation has certain knowledge about technology, has certain skills in handling technology, also has certain attitudes, positive, critical attitudes towards technology, so that they can live in a technological society as responsible citizens. My main research interest, which is also the focus of the journal, is technology and design education. There is some confusion about the term technology education, which we notice when articles come in. There are people who confuse it with educational technology. So there's a difference between teaching about technology, and that's what technology education is about, and teaching through technology, by means of technology, using technology to support education. And that can be done for all sorts of subjects like the science education or language education. And so our focus is really teaching about technology. Well, the relatively new position of technology education in the whole school curriculum brings with it the need to give it an established place in the curriculum. And one of the dangers that we've seen in the past is if it takes a too isolated position, that can be problematic because it puts you in a vulnerable position. So what currently we think is important to think about how this technology component can be part of a larger whole, which we nowadays call STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics education. That kind of research, investigating how that can be put into practice, not just as a sum of the four, but really as an integrated whole, is something that also science education and math education is interested in, because they, of course, see in technology a way to make their subject more relevant, more practical. And for technology education, it can be important for even perhaps the survival of the subjects in the whole school curriculum. Another thing we think is important is who's going to teach that? Is there anyone who has all that knowledge? No, of course, but this technology educator will have to be able to have not only an understanding of technology itself, but also science and mathematics. So what we are interested in is what we call the pedagogical content knowledge of technology educators. And that is, what is the sort of knowledge and skills and attitudes that teachers need in order to be able to teach technology in such a way that it relates to these other subjects, and at the same time does justice to the specific character of technology itself. The development of the journal in the past years has been a sort of broadening of scope. Originally it was all focused on either primary or secondary education. One of the things I did in the past is open up also for educational research in tertiary, at the tertiary level, particularly for those areas where design plays an important part, like industrial design or architecture. I did that on purpose because I think it is important for those people doing research in primary or secondary to see that there are also insights gained in education at a higher level that might be usable. And so I think the combination of all levels where you can also sort of see a development is very important also for the improvement of education at the lower levels. Benefits for the authors, I think, are in the first place the reputation of Springer. So it's attractive to have an article in the Springer Journal because Springer is a good publisher, obviously. A second advantage is that the journal has a good reputation in the field. It's the only one anyway that is published by a commercial publisher. The others are published by, let's say, associations or universities. And thirdly, we are successful in giving good reviews. So people really get those reviews that will help them improve the text, rather than just seeing that the text is rejected. I'm very happy, of course, with the fact that there is a high satisfaction level of the authors. I think the main reason for that is that we try to give those reviews that will help them improve the text. So our primary purpose is not to reject articles, but our primary aim is to help an author to revise the text so that it gets a better quality. Technology education is still a relatively young field, certainly compared to science education and math education. But still we can see that the field is sort of maturing. And well, there's some signals for that. And the main ones, of course, is that there are journals for that field, of which our journal is one of them. But there are also specialized book series for it. Springer has a book series, Contemporary Issues in Technology Education. There is now a handbook for technology education in a series that also had handbooks on science and math education. So now we have one about technology education also, which suggests that at least we are at some level to be comparable to the other two in that we have our own handbook now. Apart from the sort of broadening of scope that we can see now, the journal tends to extend. So we've gone already from 3 issues to 4 issues, and the number of pages has gone up. So that is something that we're very happy with, of course. Apparently more and more people find their way to the journal, and that is something, of course, that we would like to see happening in the future also. So I hope that people also in tertiary education will realize that this is also an outlet for their research, so that we'll get a balance between all these different levels. That would be something that I would really like to see happening in the future.